I guess a lot of different things come to mind, mostly controversy, things like Ferguson, the events that drove the movement to popularity.
It's an oppressed person standing up to the government, standing up to white America and the prejudice and discrimination that America has held since the beginning of time.
I mean, people of color have been oppressed for years. It's just a matter of America understanding this, taking this information and using it to improve society today. Because we can't change history, we can't change the past. It's all a matter of whether we learn from the past and work together to improve the future. About 321 million people live in the United States. 14%, or about 42 million of those people, are African American. Although slavery was eradicated with the 13th Amendment in 1865, modern-day America is still plagued with racial tensions on a national scale that have put African Americans at a disadvantage for decades.
All this time, there's been a very real impact from law enforcement on the minority community and the African American community, and it's there, and it's not something that I think I would be doing a disservice to the community, especially the people of color, to be dismissive of that very real history and very real past. And it's my challenge and it's my job to be aware of that and understand that there's some very real sensitivity issues based off of brutality, based off of killings, based off of things that have happened. And as a police officer, it's very important for me to understand that and try to do better.
This issue isn't specific to the city of Ithaca or even the state of New York. African Americans across America must deal with microaggressions and biases every day.
To me, Black Lives Matter means standing up against oppression and injustice in America. When you go to a breast cancer fundraiser and complain about all the other types of diseases, like you wouldn't go to a cancer fundraiser and say, oh, what about HIV? Or, oh, what about skin cancer? Because that's not what's being addressed.
It's early, but guess what? They've been up all day with these red hats on. All day. I'm really happy to see everybody out here today as we show DC's resistance.
A long overdue movement, collective action by people to address things that have been happening for a really long time, but until people have the ability to record so well on their own, to get the audio and video of the reality that a sizable portion of America is experiencing, it just didn't appear to a good portion of America. Kept off the news, kept off of most media outlets that convince people that kind of things are fine, that people who are concerned about race relations are overthinking things. So I think that's what jumps to mind for me, is just an organization of people who I think were fed up with knowing the reality but seeing something very different projected to the country and the world.
Why are so many people afraid of black people?
That's what I want to figure out.
I can give you a really good idea of why it might be that way. Violent tendencies.
I don't condone this, but I understand why some people of color do become violent when they see an All Lives Matter sign or something like that, because you're demeaning our entire movement. And I wouldn't expect them to understand. I don't think they're even trying to understand this problem. they say all lives matter, but all lives aren't being shot by the police without justifiable cause. All lives aren't being profiled in grocery stores.
I've had times where like I've walked into stores and the store owner, who generally, if they're white, who will like watch me and stare at me. Like this happened multiple times. Like just last week, I was walking to the corner store by the Commons, and it's kind of like a weird layout. There's like only 2 aisles, it's really small, and like I walked in, went to go get some chips, and then as I'm like looking through all the chips, I turn around and I see like the lady peeking around the corner to look at me, and it's just like, I'm not gonna steal anything.
It ranges from especially be calling the N-word, half N-word, to just microaggressions such as people or white people always asking about black culture or trying to appropriate it. And to me, it's really offensive when somebody tries to make an assumption about me because I'm half black. I think that in order for the Black Lives Matter movement to be successful, the black community needs to come together regardless of any other facts. It shouldn't really matter the background, but the black community has to come together for the Black Lives Matter movement to actually be progressive. And also, it can't just be the black community, it has to be all of America that comes behind and supports an oppressed people.
We're bringing to light that historic abuse and systematic shame, and trying to shed light on that and overcome and help that group that's been held down for so long.